Tam o' Shanter, a tale. When chapmen billies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late, and folk begin to take the gate, while we sit bowsing at the nappy, and getting fo and unco happy, we think na on the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fand honest Tam o' Shanter, as he frae air a night did canter. Auld air, wham ne'er a town surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, hadst thou but been sae wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she told thee weel thou was a scullum, a blitherin, blusterin, drunken blellum, that frae November till October, a market day thou was nae sober, that ilka melder with a miller thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every naig was ca'd a shoe on, the smith and thee gat roarin' fo on, that at the Lord's house even on Sunday thou drank with curtain Jean till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the mirk by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how mony counsels sweet, how mony lengthened sage advices the husband frae the wife despises. But to our tale, a market night Tam had got planted unco right, fast by an ingle bleezing finely, with reemin swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow Souter Johnny, his ancient trusty drouthy crony. Tam lo'ed him like a very brother. They had been for weeks together. The night drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours secret, sweet, and precious. The Souter told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rare and rustle, Tam did nae mind the storm a whistle. Care, mad to see a man sae happy, e'en drowned himself amang the nappy. As bees flee hame wi' lades o' treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the ills o' life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread, you seize the flower, its bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white, then melts forever, or like the borealis race, that flit ere you can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, evanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time or tide, the hour approaches, Tam maun ride. That hour o' night's black arch the key stain, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sic a night he taks the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twad blawn its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the devil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on thro' dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whiles holding fast his good blue bonnet, whiles crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whiles glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where ghaists and howlets nightly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, wherein the snaw the chapman snored. And past the birks in meikle stane, where drunken Charlie braks neck bane, and thro' the winds and by the carn, where hunters fanned the murdered barn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mither hanged herself. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the doubling storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, near and more the thunders roll, wind glimmering thro' the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a bleeze. Thro' ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. With tippenny we fear nae evil, with whisky bay we'll face the devil. The swats sae reamed in Tammy's noodle, fair play he cared nae devil's a bootle. But Maggie stood right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the light, and wow, Tam saw an unco sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion brent knew frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape o' beast, a towsy tyke, black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skill, till roof and rafters a did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses, that shawed the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip sleight, even in its cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the highlay table a murderer's banes in gibbet irons, twice span lang, wee unchristened barns. A thief new cutted frae a rope, with his last gasp his gabe did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled. Whom his ain son o' life bereft, the grey hairs yet stack to the heft. Way mair o' horrible and awful, which even to name would be unlawful. As Tammy glowered amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleekit, till ilka carlin swat and rickit, and coosed her duties to the wark, and lickit at her in her sark. Now Tam, o' Tam, had they been queens, all plump and strappin' in their teens, their sarks instead o' creeshy flannin been snaw white 1700 linen. Their breeks o' mine, my only pair, that ance were plush o' good blue hair, I would hae given them off my herdies for ae blink o' the bonny birdies. But withered bedlams old and droll, rigwoody hags wad speen a foal, lopping and flinging on a cummock, I wonder did nae turn they stomach. But Tam kenned what was what for Brolly. There was a winsome wench and Wally, that night enlisted in the corps, lang after kenned on Carrick shore. For mony a beast to dead she shot, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and bear, and kept the countryside in fair. Her cutty sark o' paisley harn, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vaunty. Ah, little kenned the reverend granny, that sark she coft for her wee Nanny. With 2 pund Scots 'twas all her riches, would ever graced a dance o' witches. But here my muse her wing maun core, sic flights are far beyond her power. To sing how Nanny lap and flang, a supple jade she was and strong, and how Tam stood like ane bewitched, and thought his very even enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu' fain, and hotched and blew wid might and main, till first a caper, sin another, Tam tint his reason all together, and roars out, "Weel done, Cutty Sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees bizz out with angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their byke, as open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud, so Maggie runs, the witches follow, wi' mony an eldritch screech and hollow. Ah, Tam, they'll get thy farin', in hell they'll roast thee like a herrin'. In vain thy Kate awaits thy comin', Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystane of the brig. Thereat them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they darena cross. But ere the keystane she could make, they faint a tail she had to shake, for Nanny far before the rest hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle, but little wist she Maggie's mettle. A spring brought off her master hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son take heed. Whenever to drink you are inclined, or Cutty Sarks run in your mind, think ye may buy the joys o'er dear, remember Tam o' Shanter's mare.